Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. You may be seated. You know, and today I'm going to talk about something that is very important. You know that we've been talking about back to basics for a long time, our education plan at the Rogers White House. Well, as we get ready to approach the beginning of another school year, I want to talk about teacher retention and also the need for a national reading academy. Teacher retention is probably one of the hardest things, and teachers out there may correct me when I say it's the hardest. It may be either the hardest or one of the hardest things that educators are faced with. Um, right now, districts throughout our country are scrambling to fill positions, and oftentimes teachers have signed contracts, made a commitment to that district to just fly in the middle of the night to another place for better pay. We have to we have to work on keeping those teachers in the classroom, and we have to work on educating our teachers in the art of reading. So those are the things I want to talk about here today. You know, one of the things about our Back to Basics program that we have introduced. Everybody knows that it's a $1.72 trillion education plan, probably the biggest education plan ever designed. And as far as funding, it is second behind the Department of Defense. That's how important education is to this administration. Part of that plan is to uh, pay retention bonuses. That is, if you sign a contract, you're a veteran teacher, you sign that contract, and you come back to that same district, you get a retention bonus. And I think that will be one of the things that actually slow down the movement of teachers throughout district to district. Now, I understand that sometimes movement is necessary. Two good friends of mine, one was when she was moving around and finally found a district close to home and retired from that district. She was a military spouse, and she had no other choice but to move whenever her husband duty station called. The other one was a pastor's wife, and they had to move around as their calling goes along. Those are exceptions, but there are other teachers who literally will sign a contract on a Sunday night and resign just days later, if not hours later. We had to put a stop to that. There needs to be a sense of commitment among our national teachers. I am very fortunate. Many of you know now that Andrea is a principal. She's worked very hard, 31 years in education to go from the classroom up to administration. She stuck it through many difficult times. She switched district to district, but she never gave up, and she never gave up on her students. This is what we got to reinstill in our classrooms is a commitment. A good friend of mine back home in Texas was and is in my Sunday school class, was my English teacher. She tells the story that when her and three other people came to work at the district I graduated from in Texas, they stayed there for 30 years. They all started at the same time, and I believe if the story's right, they all retired at the same time. We have to get back to that because oftentimes teachers will take these jobs now, and this is probably more of a maybe not. It may not even be a teacher thing. It may be a society thing that we are more of a transient society than we used to be. But nonetheless, there was stability in those schools. Uh, for years, you knew that she was going to be your English teacher. For years, you knew that person was going to be your government teacher. For years, you knew that that person was going to be your principal. Now you don't seem like you don't know from day to day, or maybe year to year, who your principal is going to be and really who your school teacher is going to be. There has to be that continuity built. And that's one of the things that Back to Basics, this education plan, is going to do. The other thing is the creation of a national reading academy. Along with the transient population of our teachers, I think having a national reading academy will teach beginning teachers, will teach veteran teachers the fine skills of fluency and all the necessary skills required to teach the reading skills for our young children. Studies have shown that if we build that foundation in the kindergarten through third grade, our students have a very good chance at success. And so that's why I would like to see the implementation of a nationwide reading academy. It's already been tried in several districts. It's being tried in a district back home in Texas with a very good friend of mine who is now a senior principal at that district. But it's shown some very good results. I think if we do that and we work on teacher retention, those are two things that will solve the teacher crisis that we're going through now in our country. Thirdly, and I'll say this, the $1.72 trillion that this program proposes is going to pay for a livable income for our teachers. Too often, our teachers are living at or below the poverty level. How is that? I ask you, how is that? How can the most important person in your child's life who shapes your child's future be living on the poverty level, who cannot afford groceries, who can't afford a tank of gas? Now, I know that there's other factors involved in that, gas prices, the economy, and that is part of what we're trying to accomplish here as well. But we have to pay them a livable wage. I think if you pay teachers a livable wage, you do teacher retention bonuses for staying in the district, and you have the implementation of a nationwide reading academy, we will go tremendously far in the reshaping of our education program here in this country and prepare our scholars for the next generation. You know, there are many people out there, many people who are against the Department of Education. This administration believes the Department of Education can do a whole lot more than it has done before. One of the things they would be in charge of is the National Reading Academy. One of the things they would be charge of is getting that money for those retention bonuses sent from Washington back to the districts, back to the states. It's getting money from DC and sending it back to the states. But it would be the agency that would facilitate that. You know, and it's time that we do that. And it's time that we put in charge of that agency a true educator. A true educator. Under my administration, the head of education would be a true educator, not just a political appointment. That's how much I believe in that. The Secretary of Education would be a true educator with classroom skills, with administration skills, not just business skills. Folks, I believe, honestly, if we do these things, I think we can come a long way in curing what is one part of a problem in our country, and that is our education system. And with your help and with the help of this country, I believe we can achieve that. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America, and may He protect our troops. Thank you all very much. Thank you.